Okay, so this will be a feedback slash critique for White Tiger. And before we get into it, you know the drill. It's just my first impressions and 2 cents, dude. It's just food for thought. Do with it what you will. Okay, but first you ask, you're practicing Korean backdashing in the lab, but you don't apply it as much to your game. My perspective is that it feels like you're a player who has to constantly put in consciously think first, okay, here I'm going to start Korean backdashing, here I'm going to start Korean backdashing, until it becomes like a second nature, right? Basically, you just got to build up the muscle memory. So a surefire method, honestly, it's really just about just do it, right? Just starting to do it. I'll talk about it in the matches I'm gonna watch now, but I feel like a lot of your situations is you need to experiment more with ambiguous frame situations, such as -1, -4, +1, +2, etc. So anywhere from that -4 to +4, like in that range, right? Experiment more with movement, right? Backdashing, sidestepping, etc. This will result in more losses, right? Because you are experimenting with a new skill, your application of it won't exactly be ideal, right? Because you're not going to know what you're doing. There's no real surefire method that I can think of right now of like, oh yeah, just start doing X, Y, and Z, and then you'll be backdashing in real matches all the time. My opinion is that if you have it practiced, right, you just have to consciously make the effort of, okay, in this situation, instead of going for a frame trap with back 1 or 1+2, let me instead try to backdash, right? And sidestep here or there, right? Remember, you gotta sidestep moves, not characters. Even though there are general directions that you want to be stepping certain characters, you always have to remember the priority goes to moves first. So a thing you can do, right, if you want to practice backdashing, and you don't necessarily need to do like 3 or 4 Korean backdashes, right? As long as you get that 2 to 3, that sweet spot of getting a whiff, you could probably even practice against try to set up a mirror match, right, with other Feng players, and just run some sets with them, right, and practice backdashing out of their pressure. So that way you can get a feel of when and where you're going to be able to backdash, right? Because a lot of it is just as far as like, oh, I just want to start backdashing, just start backdashing, right? But in terms of when is the ideal situation to backdash, it's just going to come down to a lot of character knowledge, right? Okay, and then the other thing is applying 1-2 to your game plan, but it doesn't feel like it's going as well as it should. Okay, yeah. I'll keep that in mind. I've watched a few of the matches, and I'll keep that in mind as I give my feedback. All right, let's get right into it. I never knew that move was only -2. I always thought it was like -10 for some reason. I'm not gonna get too much into, the character matchup stuff. That's just something you gotta practice on your own and look up a punish guide, get more used to the moves, practice punishing those moves in situations. And remember, the punishment isn't just block punishment, it can also be, ducking, as in here, as it appears that this move does not jail, so you should be able to duck the second part of it. Okay, I need to do something about this quality. Really? This is 720p? Okay. I guess. God damn it, YouTube. Anyway, don't mind the quality. Just, you're fine. Okay, so okay, let's keep it going. Nice. Oh, oh no. Okay, so I think like right here, this is where we're getting into the issue, is this over-eagerness to apply pressure and Oki. Because again, going back to it, right, it's why are you in such a rush to apply pressure? You have the life lead, the Chloe likes to press buttons, is pretty aggressive, she's pressing a lot of buttons, and you can just as easily dash forward to give off that impression of, oh, I'm gonna rush in to apply Oki, and then immediately backdash and see if they wake up with a move or something, right? And if they wake up with a get up kick or anything, really, shoulder should be able to hit them. You got to be tricky with punishment if it's like a spring kick, but even then I think you should be able to shoulder it. Did it work? Nice. Okay, so this is something I will talk about, is that get up kicks are universal, right? There is no character has like a special get up kick, right? If they what's the word? If they have special spring kicks that they can get up with, right? But as far as those low and mid get up kicks, it's all universal, right? And this is something I lose a lot of damage out on too, because I keep thinking that one of the get up kicks is like way more punishable than it is. And I would recommend practicing your punishment in the lab, right? The most like the TLDR is if they're face up and their feet are towards you, right? The low is -12, the mid is at least -13, right? So you should be able to punish it. But I could be -12. It's been a while since I've tested this stuff. I just have the punishes down in muscle memory, right? But even then I fuck up where I'm not able to discern when it's the -12 low versus the -13 low. And obviously there's a world of difference there. The most important thing is that while there are launch punishable low kicks when they're grounded, they're more often when they're face down, right? So if they're face up, don't commit to your 15 frame crouching punish, because it's not going to work out. So I think just tightening up the punishes here and there will be ideal. It's not the end of the world. Oh my god, that was terrible. Oh, excuse me. It's not the end of the world, but it's just something to note of. Okay, a tragedy. How the fuck did that happen? Oh god, it's lucky Chloe doing lucky Chloe things. Oh nice, good punish. Unfortunate. Oh no. That's so weird. I guess that was just lag. Nice. Okay, so now we're running into the situation of you're giving up too much pressure. Unfortunate. Oh, nice. Unfortunate. Oh god. Oh god. Okay. So, like, right around here? Here's the issue we're having, right? Is that I get it, Lucky Chloe's pretty scary to, like, apply pressure on, especially because your Magic 4 just got fucking demolished by Cali Roll, right? And my opinion is you just need to practice this specific matchup and its intricacies, right? Ling and Chloe Cali Roll are handled pretty differently. Like, I think on Chloe you can actually get like a relatively consistent 12 frame punish, but on Ling you have to be more careful. Excuse me. I think because look at the situation on the screen, right? Like, you can tell from the floor that her back is pretty close to the wall, right? And as annoying as evasive as she can be, when their back is to the wall, her options are going to be a lot less restricted. And this is where I feel like it's hurting, is that you don't know when to attack or when to consistently punish some things like Cali Roll, or knowing when to kind of like, all right, wait, let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes and see, okay, let me pause a little bit before continuing my offense and see if they're gonna whiff something or press buttons, because you need to I think a lot of the issues currently is just an uncertainty with timing, right? You're not sure when to time your attacks and pressure, and then by the time you commit to something, they've sidestepped into like some evasive bullshit or something. And knowing when is this character really vulnerable and when are they not? And it's just something, it's going to be a combination of practicing. So as far as, let's say, like, if you face a Lucky Chloe, right? No matter what, given your practice with the matchup, you will know, okay, if they commit to anything that leaves the character vulnerable, right, you'll be ready for the punish. And then all that's left is kind of being able to get a read on your opponent, which is obviously a lot easier said than done, but it feels like you're not even at the stage yet of, okay, this Lucky Chloe is doing something, and you just keep getting like wrapped up in, keep getting caught up in their momentum. That's what I'm seeing here. Let's watch the other match and let's see what we can do. Oh boy, Julia. Oh, Kazuya. No, I like the costume for Feng. Okay, so again, what exactly is going on here? Why the immediate commitment to Wall Rising 3, right? Or Wall Standing 3, whatever. Why the immediate commitment? What about the Kazuya made you go, okay, I'm gonna commit to Wall Standing 3 right now, right? Let's continue. These should have done twin pistons. Here comes the blender. What a fundamental, focused character. Nice. Unfortunate drop. Unfortunate. Okay. Jesus. Okay. And here we see two wild trails. I don't know the notation of this string, right? Maybe it's 1, 2, 4. Okay, let me just look it up. Why not? It's not like people are going anywhere. Yeah, 1, 2, 4. Okay. So like right here, you whiff down forward 4 and do down for and do you commit to down forward 4-3, but he's ready with the duck like instantly, right? So that should let off some warning signals about like, oh shit, okay, this guy has an inkling of the matchup. He knows that it's a mid-high string and he's gonna be ducking. So you need to, you know, very make sure that the down forward 4 hits, or you do down forward 4-2, right? Don't commit to 3. This is gonna come up. This is gonna come up a lot. Nice duck. Jeez. Okay. That is punishable, right? Yeah. Oh, -12. Fuck. Make shoulder -12. Why not? Just fucking do it. Oh, that's so annoying. That's tragedy. You'll still get your 10 frame punish. It is what it is. Yeah. So. Oh, okay. Let's keep going. Wait, that's -13? That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, yeah, so you see like he's ready with the duck. Oh, nice. Oh, that's true. Like full crouch down forward 2 should be more damage, right? Okay, so that happened. That was a doozy. So neutral combo, punishment / matchup knowledge combo / OP personal opinion stuff. Neutral. You are too trigger happy with your offense. Everything about your playstyle is just offense, 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 offense. And I'm gonna be real with you, right? Like I don't see anything about the 1-2 coming into play here. I think a lot of the issues in these matches in particular is your sort of over eagerness to commit to your offense before focusing more on, okay, what is my opponent doing? How do they like to approach? What is their defense like, etc., etc., etc. Right? There is literally nothing about 1-2 here that really would help you, because the issue is you are overcommitting to your offense when you don't need to be, and it's getting you killed, right? Whether it's the Lucky Chloe matchup of you just keep running into stuff because you're just overeager and or it's like this Kazuya matchup where you are overcommitting to like backswing blows for no reason, expecting the Kazuya to run into it, which he is somewhat aggressive, but he is clearly, you know, passive enough, right, to hang back a little bit. You whiff your button and he's able to then whiff punish you, or do something and then you're still pressing buttons and just get blown up, right? You just get counter hit because the Kazuya is able to alter his timing, right? My opinion is that the critical issues that you're facing are an issue of timing and a slight combination of matchup knowledge, right? Because obviously it's very hard to attack an opponent when you don't exactly fully know what their character does. But even without that, I don't think you need to like be a master in the Kazuya matchup to see that you were just hitting way too many buttons you did not need to be hitting, right? That's the core of the issue here. So, things that you could be doing in neutral is experimenting with just slowing down, right? You need to do a lot more poking, right? I'm seeing way too many big call out moves, right? I'm seeing a lot of like wall standing 3, backswing blow, down forward 4-3, and it's like, why? What exactly is the opponent doing that's like, oh, I have to use my punishable launcher, right? And then you'll do stuff like, let me do shoulder, and then it doesn't get punished because it's online, and then you'll do sabaki, right? And it works out, sure, but it's kind of like, these are bad habits, right? It's one thing to know that, okay, I know the opponent is not going to punish shoulder, and they're going to press into it so I can do my sabaki. It's another thing when that's like your primary offense, right? And I think that's the main crux of the issue here, is that you need to focus more on not just like jab strings, but also just poking in general, right? Obviously, Feng's punishment isn't super ideal, right? But his poking is very strong, right? He's got a lot of solid pokes, a lot of solid tools. And first, you need to see what your opponent is doing before you can just keep trying to apply offense, right? Like, Feng's mix-ups aren't exactly that crazy, right? The clean hits on back turn down 3 and sidestep 4 more often get you killed than anything, or they just don't work. First, you have to make sure that the opponent is scared and slowing down, right? How do you do that, right? First, you just focus on punishing the opponent. Don't apply your offensive game plan. First, focus on, okay, what is my opponent doing? Where can I punish? How can I disrupt him? And not just with like, let me do back one, let me do sabaki, that type of stuff. That comes up, yes, and you do want to use those tools. Excuse me, but this is also a lot of where movement is going to come up, right? And other such tools. Punishment / matchup knowledge, right? It just feels like you're not very versed in the Lucky Chloe matchup at all, and you got to work on making more consistent punishes on that, right? You got to get used to seeing that offense and then being able to be like, okay, they did Cali roll, I'm going to wait for my time and then punish, right? Or I think they're going to do sidestep and do that evasive hop kick she has, right? So then you're going to just dash block, right? Dash block in and wait a little bit and either punish it if they do it, or, continue waiting, or do another strategy if they don't commit to the hop kick, right? So it's an issue of all these layers of, you're trying to apply your offense, but then the opponent isn't anywhere close to like respecting you. And that should be, as Feng, that should be a sign of, I gotta switch gears and focus more on the punishment and poking side of things for a little bit and slow down the pace of the match, right? Because Feng is not like a super crazy frame trap from mid-range character, right? He's not like Hwoarang to constantly make the opponent second guess, right? He's range 0, sure, you can do all this like tricky stuff, but first you have to make sure that the opponent has slowing down, because a lot of the stuff you're just getting hit out of. I talked about the get-up kicks in terms of punishment. I talked about tightening up the punish in certain areas where you can. Stuff like that. Combo / Oki. Some unfortunate drops. That's whatever. Just practice your combos. Oki, right? You are too overeager to apply your Oki, constantly either overcommitting to like a slash kick when the Lucky Chloe hasn't really shown that they're going to quickly get up yet, right? First, dash in and then hold back to see what your opponent does, right? Or if you face them before, then apply your game plan. Your first priority, in my opinion, is first focusing on your opponent. What do they like to do? What are their habits? And how can you abuse those habits to the best of your advantage, right? Especially on Oki, right? Do they stay on the ground? Do they commit to moves, etc., etc., etc.? Okay. 1 over punishment / match knowledge, 1 over combo / Oki. Personal opinion stuff. I'm just not seeing a lot of poking on your end, right? I don't want to ramble on for too much, but basically it's, you are too overeager to apply your offense, and you need to slow down your game plan to first focus on disassembling your opponent's game plan, right? What can I... Wait. I don't want to throw out like specific tools, because it's really more about a timing thing, and I feel like this is where you just gotta experiment with your timing, right? Think just basically in these situations where you would normally dash in and apply your game plan, apply your offense, instead go, okay, let me dash once or twice, then hold back and see what my opponent does, and get more knowledge and information on, okay, they're very passive on their wake up, or they're very aggressive on their wake up. They like to press a lot of buttons, and then constantly getting into that ebb and flow of, okay, my opponent's doing X, I'm going to do Y, which counters X. Okay, now they switch to Z, I'm going to do X, which counters Z, etc., 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 right? Oh, yeah, there's a video by Blasted Salami, which I'll also link, just talking about these concepts, right? I was just kind of very vague and rambly because it's hard to really describe, like, hey, here's you got to mix up your timing, right? You got to mix up your timing, stop pressing too many buttons, and focus more on downloading your opponent, at least enough to where you can go back to applying your game plan, right? Obviously, it's very hard to just completely download an opponent and have all these reads, and I'm not saying you should have that. I'm saying you need to slow down the pace of your match to disrupt your opponent's timing, and because they're very easily countering you. Like the Kazuya was ready to duck every single down forward 4-3 you ever threw out because that's all you were doing, right? Like you just had too much stale timing on your offense. Yeah. Bit rambly, you know how it is. I hope I was able to kind of give some perspective, right? If you have any further questions, of course, just let me know. And yeah, take care.